Okay, today I'm going to be talking about how to revise your Of Mice and Men essay. First, I'm going to talk about the structure and the color coding. So if you look at your packet, in your packet it has all of this stuff in order. So the first thing it tells you to put in is your attention getter. So that's what all of this is for me. I went with historical and like a connection to real life, like stuff that has gone on in our history. Your attention getter does not have to be as long as mine. You could use like painting a scene where there's action. You could use dialogue. The most used way to get attention is with a question, which isn't my favorite, but if that's where you're comfortable, do that. And then I transitioned from my attention getter to my thesis. So I took a little bit of this up here, which I'm claiming that education, intelligence, and power are strongly linked. And my transition is saying that Steinbeck actually doesn't link those things. And then I'm going into my thesis. So with my thesis, I am making a claim. I am arguing something, which your thesis needs to do. So my topic is intelligence, and I'm saying intelligence does not play a factor in who has power in this book. And I give examples that talk about different characters who are intelligent and who are not intelligent, and all of the characters I'm using do not have power. So that is how I'm proving my point in my thesis. Your whole essay should be proving the point in your thesis. So we have the first color showing up for color coding. So when you color code your essay, you're going to use pink to show the thread of your thesis throughout the paper. So your thesis or your topic is always going to be highlighted in pink. So when you refer back to that thesis, like your topic sentence in each paragraph should do, highlight in pink how you're connecting to that thesis. So once again, my thesis is about intelligence and power. So in my topic sentence for my first body paragraph, I have intelligence and power in that sentence to show that I am talking about my thesis throughout the whole entire essay. This topic sentence is also telling you what this paragraph is going to be about. So my first paragraph is about Curly's wife and the fact that she is unintelligent and she is intelligent, but she doesn't have any power. So your topic sentence tells you what this paragraph is about, and then it also ties back to your thesis. So it's doing two jobs at once. So next on your color coding, you have yellow and green. These are how you're proving your point, proving your claims. So the green is your money. That's like how you are going to make this happen. Your text evidence will be highlighted in green. So this is my text evidence here, which I'll come back to that in a second. And then your commentary around that text evidence, you're going to highlight in yellow. On the organizer, it calls introducing your quote. The first piece of commentary, they call it introducing your quote on the organizer in your packet. And then the text evidence, it calls that a quote, which I don't want y'all to get confused. That can also be not somebody speaking. It doesn't have to be like a quote like it came out of a character's mouth. And then the following yellow is going to be you explaining the importance of that quote or how that quote is proving what you have claimed in your topic sentence. Coming back to the text evidence real quick, when you do put your text evidence into your essay, depending on how long that text evidence is, will determine whether you put it in the essay like this, it's just another line in the essay, or if you're using a lot of text evidence like I did here, it gets indented and it's like a subparagraph inside the paragraph and your citation looks different. I am going to type this up and put it on Google Classroom and you'll be able to see how the formatting is different for a long piece of text evidence versus just a few lines. Most of y'all are going to be using this, not a big, huge chunk. Anytime you do provide text evidence, remember you need to put it in quotation marks to show that it is not your words. And then if somebody is speaking in your text evidence, you indicate that by adding just one apostrophe, I guess. So it would be quotation marks, apostrophe, whatever they said. After your text evidence, you're going to do comma, then your 2 or 3, depending on if someone's speaking. Parentheses, Steinbeck, because that's our author, comma, the page number, close your parentheses, then a period. This is the proper way to punctuate that, and please punctuate it properly. I am not requiring a works cited page on this essay because we are all reading the same book. I know what book you're talking about. Let's see, I think that pretty much covers it. Oh, on the body paragraph, the concluding sentence, you're wrapping up everything that you have said in that body paragraph, and you are once again tying to your thesis. So when I wrap up Curly's wife, I say Curly's wife is an example of a character who is intelligent but does not have power. So once again, my thesis is about intelligence and power. I've connected back to that again. My next body paragraph is going to follow the same pattern. My third body paragraph is going to follow the same pattern. And then my conclusion comes up. So first in your conclusion, I'm asking you to restate your thesis. I had a little bit of a struggle doing this because my normal way that I will rewrite my thesis is by flipping it. So if you look at my original thesis, it says, does not play a deciding factor in who holds power. So I took the holds power idea and put it first. Holding power, so I've taken the end of my thesis and made it the beginning. In of mice and men, because I want to be giving credit to where this all came from, is not a reflection of ignorance. So as I tried to flip intelligence, ignorance, they're opposites. When you rewrite your thesis, easiest way to do is flip the order of the words, and then you can write it like opposite of how you originally wrote it. Then you are going to have a chunk in your conclusion where you are reviewing your main points. I've gone back to all my body paragraphs and kind of summed up my argument. So Curly's wife and Crooks are both intelligent. I have paragraphs about Curly's wife and Crooks. Lenny is not. I have a paragraph about Lenny. All three do not hold power. So I'm showing that their intelligence is not reflective on whether they have power or not. And then I'm bringing it bigger and saying their circumstances overcome their brains. So, and helplessness is thrust upon them. Race, mental health, and gender are still all limiting circumstances. Over the past 90 years, how much has changed? So that is my applying it to life, because if you look at these three characters, the reason they don't have power has nothing to do with their intelligence. It has to do with their race, mental health, and gender. And I'm connecting that to the bigger world by saying, has it really changed nowadays?